Hello everybody, this is Dragons Guild 76 here, and I'm coming at you with a different type of video today. Today I'm going to be covering over some DM and new player basics here. So today I thought I would go over and show you what is one of the base essential things you need for D&D. And the first thing that I honest to God bought when first starting out as a new player in the whole vast world of RPGs and Dungeons and Dragons is a set of dice. Now, the first dice I ever bought, I no longer have. I gave it to a friend, but I have since bought multiple sets of dice, and they're all from the same company. My favorite dice is actually from a company called CHESSEX here. This is your standard your standard set of dice here, and it comes with all the ones that you need, like your essential dice. So I'm going to go ahead and pop these open here, pour them out. It always comes in a little container like that, little plastic containers. Awesome. So here we go. These are your base dice here. We have your D20 here. This is the dice that you're going to use almost 100% of the time that you're playing. So whenever you are asked to roll or do a check for something, you're going to be rolling this dice. And what I like about CHESSEX is that they put out quality products that usually roll pretty good. They're not cited very heavily, and they'll give you the most diverse rolls. So here, we'll go ahead and roll this. That's a 5. It's not very good. Go ahead and roll again. 18, nice. So see, it's giving me a wide range of different rolls. So it's not very biased. 15. Cool. So it rolls pretty average too. And that's what I like about CHESSEX, is that it will give you an average roll. So now these are some of the other dices that are going to come in your dice set, and then we'll go ahead and go through them for new players and whatnot if you're trying to get into D&D. So we have our D20. This is your main dice, the one that you're going to be using most of the time for checks, for attacking, what have you. So we'll put that there. That's the first one. The next dice that you're going to be using as well are some of these here. So these are more or less kind of like your attack dice here. Put this one aside for a second. So these here are your more of like when you attack something, these are your damage outputting dice. Sometimes your DM will ask you to roll a random dice, like a d6 to determine an outcome or what have you. But for the most part, these are your damage dealing dice if we're talking about D&D. So this is called your D10 because, lo and behold, it has 10 sides. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and so on and so forth. So this is your D8. So it only has 10 sides, hence the word or the name D10. So it only has 10 sides. Boom. And then we'll go ahead and roll this a couple times. 3, cool. It gives me an average of high and low numbers, so it's not very heavily sided to where it will only roll low numbers or high numbers, which you want it to be fair. So that's why I really like CHESSEX. So those are our first two. Next one we're going to go over is our D12 here. Go ahead and pick this one up. So this is our D12. It has 12 sides, hence the name D12. And this is more or less for for a chance die or for attacking or what have you. You hardly use this one because not a lot of attacks do D12 damage, or you don't really use this one a lot, but it's still there for you. So we'll go ahead and roll it. 6, go ahead and back up. 8, 12, cool. Our next one, and this one is more used. I find this one is used more. So the D6, which has 6 sides here, is another dice that is widely used. This is used for recharging abilities, and as a DM you kind of need this one. A lot of damage revolves around the D6. And then the chance die, it also, a lot of players or a lot of DMs tend to use D6 to determine things. So what I use a D6 for is if I have 5 players. If I don't want to be biased, I'll say, okay, you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is a reroll, and I'll roll this, and then if it lands on that player's respective number, they're getting attacked. Another thing that I use a d6 for is like chance. So I have a table of natural 1 failures as a DM, and I have 6 different outcomes. One of them being they lose their weapon, 2 being they do damage to themselves, 3 being they do damage to another nearby player, 4 being I think like nothing happens, that they get lucky, that they just whiff really badly. And then 5 and 6 I usually leave up to the player's imagination of how they fail that round, and I'll let them choose what they decide to do. So that's what I use a d6 for. Again, CHESSEX puts out good quality stuff where it's not going to tend to roll on one side or another side. Perfect. Yeah, pretty average. So that's our d6. The next one we'll go over is our d8. Again, this is more of an attack die for damage dealing. I don't usually use a d8 for anything other than attack or damage. So we'll go ahead and roll it, show you that it's pretty average. 7, 8, 1, 8. Average dice. The next important one and the last important one will be our d4. So I use d4s a lot just because like I use them as placeholders. So if there's somebody attacking and I don't have a miniature for it, I'll place a d4 on the board and then have my other player miniatures like interact with that one thing. It usually symbolizes something because you don't usually use a d4 and players don't want to use attacks revolving around a d4. So again, it's called a d4 because it has 4 sides. This number facing up is the number that it rolled. That's how you read d4. So for example, landed on 2. Landed on a 3. Landed on a 3. So honestly, when I first started playing, the d4 was the most confusing to me because I thought that you added all sides of the number, but like instead it's more or less just like if it's the number facing up, that's the side you rolled. Anyway, yeah, that's what I use the d4 for. As a DM, I also use a d4 if I have a party of 1 through 4 players. If I don't want to be biased on surprise attacks towards somebody, I'll usually assign a player a number. You're 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then I roll it. Okay, so player number 3, you're getting attacked. So that's kind of how I determine that. And then our last one is another form of the d10. And this is technically your d100. So if you have, for DMs, you don't usually use this as a player, but if you're a DM, the idea of this is that you take your d10 and your d100, and if you have a chart that has 100 different options on it, you'll roll these, and then I'll tell you what it is. So, for example, this is a 3, this is 40, add them together, that's 43. So you look at line 43 on your chart, and it'll tell you what the outcome is, or what magical item they need. But, yeah, as a player, you don't usually use a d100 combined with your d10. This is more of like a DM's dice. Or if you do, what I do use this for sometimes is if I have an attack that does 3d10 damage and I don't want to re-roll this single dice 3 times, I'll just do that, an 8 and a 3, so that's an 11, and then I roll 1 again, 6, so 17 damage, and what have you. So, those are our dice. I hope this helps, especially for new people who are trying to get into it and don't understand what each dice is for. I hope this video helps alleviate that and that you get some sort of idea on what these dice are used for, and that it's not scary. Really, it isn't. It's pretty easy once you get the hang of it, and that eventually you'll find a pair of dice that works for you. For example, this one, and then I have another set of golden dice that are made by CHESSEX. Those 2 are my absolute favorite sets of dice. This one being one of them. Usually when I'm playing, I use this one to determine my rolls. I tend to feel like I'm a little bit more lucky with these dice. But there you have it, guys. That will conclude this video on DMs tools and your toolbox videos. Please guys, like this video if you want to see more videos like this, if you find it helpful. And then also, if you want to keep updated on some of my content and videos, hit that subscribe button while you're down there. It really helps out the channel and helps me grow and spread the love and awesomeness that is Dungeons and Dragons and that is role-playing games. So, as always guys, thank you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.